Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, I want to talk GW pricing. Reason is, I think this needs to be a conversation that people are having, because I've been around, I've talked to a lot of members of my local community, of other communities I know, talking to local game stores, local games workshop stores, and other communities out there, and other game stores in other communities, and some information that seems to be commonplace does not particularly look positively on the price increases we've seen around the game. Now, I want to start the video off because I know this is going to attract some comments on, you know, Warhammer's not cheap, it's not a necessity, it's none of this, none of that. But I think it is important to have those discussions. Because, well, if the game becomes at such a point where it is such an elite level of expenditure, it obviously means the diminishing community. I want Warhammer to have those easier access, those cheaper options for people to get into the game, because at the end of the day, someone getting in cheaper, someone getting in more expensive, both people are still a valid opponent to me to play against, and I want to play a game against all those people, and I want all those people to be in my local community playing games of Warhammer together, or, you know, any miniature game. Because it should not be said that, while yes, I'm going to refer to Games Workshop a lot in this, nearly every miniature company I know, and nearly every miniature company with models that I own, has increased their prices over the past year, whether that be Parabellum, whether that be Mantic, whether that be Modifius, or any other company. Prices have increased across the board, like everything in life at the moment. But Warhammer has certainly increased more, and it obviously garners more attention because it is the largest war game. It is Games Workshop are the big fish. So everything here sort of focuses down to Games Workshop. Now, let's just talk about price increases and just take a look at how things have increased over the course of the past, say, 6 months. Because I think this is an interesting sort of thing to touch on, and it sort of gives us a base of where to go. And so, Battletomes, $84, you can see here, limited editions, $140. I've honestly, since they stopped giving out cool stuff with the limited editions and it was just a cover, I've never bothered with them. $84. Now, larger Battletomes like Space Marines and Stormcast and that used to be $84 at all times. Nighthorn and other Battletomes like that, you know, like Fire Slayers, generally were around the $72, $74 mark, or were cheaper. I do appreciate that they're giving the tokens with the smaller Battletome to make it appear somewhat parallel to a larger Battletome. That's cool. War Scroll cards have increased from about $40 to $52.50 now in Australia. Dice have gone up about 33%. Have gone up $22 in Australia. They were $44. Miniatures, Auric, you know, $84. There was a time where he probably was a $70 character. Same with the Craven Throne Guard. They were probably $60 not too long ago. Ethereal Court, we know where these miniatures came from. I picked them up for $20 not too long ago out of Mortal Realms. The Magmadroth here, I think, is the one a lot of people are annoyed with in Australia, on the most recent one being $180 more than the old Star Collecting with none of the Vogarts in it. But let's have a look at new releases, because I think that's important. We'll have a look. See? Just going to refresh my page. And so, now I want new releases. Pre-orders can go away. New releases, Ash Wastes, $475. That is a big lot of money. About a $75 increase on the last set. $450 for that Knight's Army box is pretty steep. I mean, yes, it does contain a big knight, you know, but $450 for effectively a starter army still is not great. If you're looking at these games as entry points, that's a big barrier of entry on either of those boxes, and doesn't do any value of getting anyone into the game. Now, talking about like the price increase, you can see the price increases are quite substantial. We've seen things like Warcry, and we've seen like Underworlds get like a 50% increase as well. It obviously is playing a part. Now, what I want to talk about is how this has affected local communities. I've seen friendly local game stores to me and Games Workshop stores say we've had about a 50% decrease in product, and the majority of that 50% is coming because there are no new players or less sporadic buyers from a more casual audience. Instead, the majority of expenditure now is from those so deeply invested in the hobby, someone like myself, that is so deeply invested that they are sort of already down the rabbit hole. Which is a problem, because if we're not getting new blood into the system, that's an issue. I look at it now, like the Vanguard and the Combat Patrol box sets, compared to Star Collectings, they are a decent amount more expensive. And they do, and yes, you get more stuff in them. However, for starting out in the hobby, you don't, a lot of people aren't interested in 1,000 points. Some people just want 500 points on the table. When you're thinking a battle tome, a rulebook, paints and tools, and an army, you're looking at about $500 to $600 now just to get a force on the table. And if you don't have a Combat Patrol or Vanguard box, or still a Star Collecting, it does make that cost of entry really, really high to get into the hobby. And so this is causing issues with getting new people into the hobby and getting new members into our communities. And I think this is the one that really worries me. The fact that new blood is not coming in. You're always going to have, like I said, those old guard that are going to spend the money, like myself. But even I have had to make concessions where, and this is part of the problem, where I know Games Workshop is behind schedule or behind where they want to be, but we're having so many big boxes come one after another, after another, after another, after another. It is making hard to keep up with releases. So you look at it, we had Thondia, Nether Maze, Necromunda, Chaos Knights. What's come out this week? This week it isn't too bad. We've only got, the 2 armies coming out, just the 2 battle tomes really. But then the week after, we're going to straight back to another big box in the Sylvaneth First Skaven box. That's, across 6 weeks, that's 5 out of the 6 weeks with a box that is probably $300 plus. Nether Maze wasn't, but $160 for what it contains, not the greatest. And so this is, I think, part of the issue is they're just hitting so many things. I mean, look at the pre-orders coming out on that Sylvaneth and Skaven week. We've got that coming out. We have stuff coming out. The Warcry Warband's getting released. We have just a ton of stuff on pre-orders just coming out for that week. And I think this is how the problem is. People just can't keep up with releases anymore, and Games Workshop can't keep up with the releases either. We still haven't actually got Nether Maze in Australia yet. And this is potentially part of the issue. Now, of course, I've said a lot of negative things about this cost. It's stopping new people getting into the hobby. It's seeing stores make less money off Warhammer, which then means Warhammer is less important to them. Because at the end of the day, if Warhammer's not providing a game store with money, why are they going to invest in it? Especially when they're not getting new people in, which is incredibly important. Now, what can we do? Now, first of all, I want to say there are stores out there that do discount, and one of my friendly local game stores does 10% off. This is Dragons of Salisbury. They're great. This really helps ease, especially on the larger boxes, where 10% does mean, a sufficient amount of saving. And there are online retailers around me that do 20. I generally like to try and support my local game store. The people that run it do a great job of supporting the communities, and I like to try and just do my stuff and help support them when I can. Other things we can do to help, first of all, is spreading the love of your things. So being able to share books. I remember communities of us sharing books with each other, us trading books when I was younger. Lending each other battle tomes and army books and codices and stuff like that. Sharing information, sharing armies, loaning an army to a friend. Obviously, this doesn't happen in a bunch of randoms, but it can happen within a club. Maybe if you have a club or a games group that gets together, you can compile money in to make a fund to keep the battle tomes coming in and the army books and the rules and all those supplements coming in as a group for you to use. This is definitely something you could do to help these. And obviously, shopping online or shopping at local game stores that provide a discount is another great way to save some money. But I realise that this isn't all be all and end all, and so I want to ask the question to everyone: how has these price increases affected your local communities? Are you seeing less new people? Are you finding it harder to get new people in? And how do you feel about these price increases? Because, like, as much as I love Games Workshop, the price increases have hit me hard where I am having to make choices I previously wouldn't. And it's not because I can't afford them, it's because I see value elsewhere. We live in a golden age of gaming where there are so many good options for miniature games, and we're definitely trying to show that sort of stuff on the channel. We're not only exploring, the main two Warhammer games, but I want to explore all these other side games of Warhammer. I think stuff like Conquest from Parabellum, I really enjoy. Elder Scrolls from Modiphius. We've got Kings of War and Firefight coming from Mantic, and other games as well coming to the channel. Things like Moonstone and Twisted. You're in a golden age of gaming, and I really am interested to hear what people think of this. Skirmish games are a great way to get an army on the table nice and cheap and play a game on the cheap. Even the Games Workshop ones like a Warcry Warband is great for getting something, or the kill teams. But yeah, how has this affected? I'd love to have a nice civil discussion on how this has affected what you do, what your friends do, what you're seeing in your local communities, your local game stores, how it is affecting everyone. Because I think it is a discussion that needs to be had. Because it is starting to see effects in my local communities and communities that I chat to a lot online. So yeah, I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on this. Down in the comments below, let us know what all your thoughts on this are. Be civil. It's a fun and interesting conversation, and a warranted conversation to have, I think, for everyone. So let us know down in the comments below what you all think. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below and let us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our little community here at Sinful Gaming, we've got a link to our Discord server down in the video's description. And if you'd like to help support the channel in another way, you can do so either by joining Patreon or YouTube members, or purchasing something from our Ko-fi web store. All of them are linked in the video's description. Thank you all for everyone who chooses to help support the channel. As a special thank you to those people who have supported via Patreon and YouTube members, we'd like to give a special shout out to them all. So a shout out to our patrons Christian Weir, James, Soren, Greenskins Gaming, AJC, Kenny Lowe, Our and Shop First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Agu, Anthony B, Anton Nielsen, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Dynat226, Derek, and GRP390. A special thank you to our YouTube members, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Chris Wallace, Ronya, Vinny, Lockloric, The Johnny84, David Ellsworth, Revenar, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Sean Scott, Pink Nico Fire, and Robin Mankiller as well. Lastly, a special shout out first of all to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork for the channel you see, and to Xmorphic, who has done an amazing job at setting up our Discord server for her and making us have a nice place to content and to chat with all of our community. Thank you all for watching once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.